All right, a live shot of beautiful Washington, D.C. this morning. At 32 past the hour, joining us now, Chairwoman of the House Republican Conference, Congresswoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers of Washington. Good morning. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Congresswoman, what's the new Congress going to look like? Republicans are going to run the House and going to run the Senate? Are we actually going to see the House passing bills and the Senate passing bills and sending it to the president?
That's right. That's right. This is America's new Congress, and we're excited about putting forward solutions. But, you know, working together, solving problems, at the top of the list is going to be those issues related to the economy. What is really going to take to create more jobs, increase take-home pay, and ultimately improve people's lives. But I'm excited about working with a Republican majority in the Senate and with the President in the White House. We need to be working together. I don't for one moment think that one party or one person has all the solutions. We will be getting together in early January for a joint retreat to start laying out our priorities for the new Congress.
So what you talked about jobs. What's the top thing Republicans want to do over the next 2 years to help create jobs and increase take-home pay?
Well, I think energy is at the top of the list, the approval of the Keystone Project, the repeal of the medical device tax, which, again, this is an American success story when you look at medical device companies, new technologies, and actually improving people's lives in so many different ways. And so I think that will be at the top of the list. Education policies, which we need to make sure that we're improving education in this country. All of that contributes to laying that foundation for creating jobs, improving our economy, and more take-home pay.
Congresswoman, I'm wondering what, in terms of working together and trying to find a way to actually get some functioning happening in Washington and the government there, where do you stand on a shutdown on the immigration battle, and where does that play in the conversation, in your opinion?
No one is talking about shutting down the government, and that is not where we're headed. We're in really good negotiations right now. I believe that we are very close to having a budget in place, keep the government funded, recognizing that, you know, the House has different priorities than the Senate, but I believe that you're going to see us coming together and being able to make sure that we get this job done, which is what we're elected to do.
Right. Mike?
Congresswoman, you mentioned in terms of jobs, energy, the pipeline, stuff like that, but it's pretty obvious that in terms of immediate help in the job picture, construction jobs are often the easiest ones to do, and infrastructure bills are often the easiest ones to get people back to work immediately. Is there any possibility that the Republican-dominated Congress in both the House and the Senate would introduce another stimulus package to put people back to work immediately to rebuild this badly battered country's infrastructure?
Well, I'm not sure that the stimulus package was the most effective approach, but we are the Republicans, and it needed to have the priorities of actually building important infrastructure in this country. Only a very small percentage of the stimulus package actually went to transportation infrastructure, which that is going to be a priority. As you think about building a healthy economy, we have a long list of important infrastructure needs in this country, and that is a priority. A long-term transportation infrastructure bill. There's already been an outline put together between the House and the Senate that I think is a good foundation for that, and that is a priority for us. And it's been long overdue. Both parties recognize that this is something that we could come together on, which I'm excited about. I think we all recognize that this is one where we should be able to get it done.
Two other issues I want to get in here. One is a local issue here in New York, but it's really a nationwide conversation at this point. I'm wondering what your reaction is to the decision regarding the death of Eric Garner, no indictment.
Right. Well, this is tragedy, and first of all, just let me say my heart goes out to the family, and I offer my condolences, and I think we all have a lot, serious questions that need to be addressed, and we need to understand what happened, why this decision was made. I believe I would call for the House to have those hearings so that we can better understand. But we need to be taking action, appropriate action, making sure our local law enforcement have the training, that they're using appropriate force, which I think we all recognize that these are tragedies, and it has raised a lot of questions.
So there should be hearings, you think, to look into this?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. And finally, I want to ask about an issue that's very close to your heart, the ABLE Act. It's a measure that would allow people with disabilities open up savings accounts, and you brought your son into the issue and had your son Cole with you as you were talking about it. Tell us what you'd like to see happen.
Well, this is legislation that I'm pleased to report passed the House yesterday, the ABLE Act, and we have broad bipartisan, bicameral support. It was first introduced in 2006, so it has been a long time in the works. 380 co-sponsors in the House, 74 co-sponsors in the Senate, and what it does is it allows for families, for children with disabilities to be able to create tax-free savings accounts where they can set money aside, for appropriate expenses, whether it's education, transportation, other living expenses, so that those children with disabilities later on in their life can live independently and hopefully work to their ability. And I'm excited about it. I have a son that was born with Down syndrome, and one of the things we were told as new parents was don't put any money in his name, no assets, because he might not qualify for some government program. You know what? That's the wrong message to send parents. So this is really good legislation, and it is really encouraging to see the bipartisan, bicameral support.
Total sense. Congresswoman
Cathy
McMorris Rodgers, thank you so much. Good to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me.